You know, love or hate these tariffs, it's amazing how both liberal and conservative economists have been saying the same thing to Trump. Don't do this, tariffs are a bad idea. Both sides have said this. He just ignores all of them. It's kind of like when your grandfather clears his throat in a really disgusting way, but you just ignore it. Like it's totally not disturbing what just happened. I mean, you don't even mind changing the conversation at that point to something you wouldn't ordinarily want to talk about. So Grandpa, tell us again about your incurable joint inflammation, will you? I need a little pick-me-up. But you know, Bernie Sanders doesn't necessarily listen any better than Trump does. Although he's got a point about those billionaires. I mean, what do billionaires know? If I was looking for retirement planning advice, the last guy I'd want to consult with is somebody who was able to retire early. I'd be texting that Haitian revolutionary who spent millions importing Cuban guns that don't work. Now that's somebody I'd take advice from. Successful people. What do they know? And I'm sure being a billionaire is not all it's cracked up to be. I mean, you know how hard it is to find a good flight attendant to work on your private jet? I mean a good, responsive flight attendant who engages in meaningless chit-chat with another passenger when your life depends on getting her attention. She's busy at the other end of the aisle reflecting on whether Leo DiCaprio's new girlfriend is of legal age. And meanwhile, you're dying because you need water to take your chemotherapy pills. And Bernie, like Trump, would never admit that he's wrong. Bernie said he'd be the only president who would try to bring down prescription drug prices. But Trump just tried to do that, right? Bernie giving any Republican credit is as likely as a new teenage rapper giving himself a normal name. No, it has to be something like Chocolate Q, Ice Demented, Avocado 3X. It would never be like, well, I was born Cedric Wilson, but from now on, I want to be known as Fred Hunt. My new rapper name is Abe Fleischer. No. But I also didn't admit that my girlfriend was right when she rearranged the living room furniture. Instead, I said, I always knew this would be better. I was just waiting for the right time. Kind of like the Federal Reserve Chief of the lost city of Atlantis when he waited too long to cut interest rates and only did so after the island had sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic. Waiting for the right time. Now, all this said, Sanders and Trump are both trying to do the right thing, and they get nothing but disrespect. They're trying to reduce our expenses, increase our take-home pay, and safeguard our jobs. How dare they try to help me and my family? Scoundrels. It's like giving the Red Cross grief for going into malaria-ravaged nations to help victims. It's about time somebody tried to take down the Red Cross a peg or two, huh? Now, one thing we'd all be justified in hating is the Hastert rule in Congress. You know what this is? This is great. This is an unwritten rule that whichever majority party controls the House of Representatives, they won't bring a bill to the floor to be voted on unless the bill has majority support among their party members in Congress. Even if the bill could pass with some majority party votes and some minority party votes. Now, isn't that just like our founding fathers had envisioned? Zero compromise. Dictatorial rule. I think it was George Washington who said, boy, if the US could only be more like the British monarchy. If you could do a seance to connect with Thomas Jefferson, he'd say, gee, when we were framing the Constitution, why didn't we think of the Hastert rule? Former Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert. That's who came up with that beauty of a rule. When he was 8 years old, I think he said, when I grow up, I want to be just like Kim Jong-un of North Korea. And what other names did he cross out when he was naming the Hastert rule? Let's see, the Stalin rule? Yeah. The Saddam Hussein rule. The American fascist rule. Nah, that's too long. Boy, do I miss the carefree days of the Biden years, huh? Just don't buy a toilet during a Democrat administration like I did. You literally can't adjust the water level in those toilets. I mean, damn. Even our cat's laughing at me. He's like, I got plenty of litter. I don't know what you're talking about. I can hardly get any water into that toilet. You know that a remote tribe that has never had contact with the West was going to move to America until they heard about this, and they said, no thanks, we'll just stay in the forest. We'd rather manufacture foreign than get hit by a Trump tariff. Thank you, you've been great.